Funke Akindele has become the first filmmaker to rank #1 at the African box office for 3 consecutive years, with a combined domestic gross of 5.3 billion naira. This feat makes her Africa's highest grossing filmmaker of all time, as well as the continent's highest grossing director, producer, and screenwriter. And to add a sweetener, for Nollywood, Nigerian cinemas achieved a historic milestone, generating a record-breaking 15.6 billion naira in total box office revenues across West Africa in 2025. So we're going to get into the conversation. There's box office money and then there's YouTube money as well. And to break all of this down for us is Tope Salami, entertainment lawyer and entrepreneur. Thank you so much for your time this morning. And I think, yes, a pleasure. And I think we're looking into somewhat, or we're celebrating this feat, even as she steps into North America and Canada as well with her movie. She seems to have hacked the movie market. #1 at the African box office, 3 consecutive years. What would you say is a trade secret that other filmmakers and screenwriters can perhaps learn from this?
Congratulations to Funke Akindele. She's indeed, a trailblazer. And for me, I think something has been working for her, and one of these things will be she's been consistent in, delivering, meaning that she has always made sure that it surpasses, the past records. 3 records back to back is indeed a great feat. Aside from consistency in making sure that she surpasses the former, she's also very hardworking. Funny enough, there is a factor people really do not consider important, which is the welfare of the crew, of the cast and crew. Yeah, I think I've been on. I've probably been on a location maybe once or twice before, and I can tell you how professional, she does her things, yeah? I'm meaning to say location is probably the best, location I've ever been as a practitioner and of course as an expert, yeah?
Okay.
When you take the welfare of your cast and crew, when you take it very paramount, trust me, everybody delivers. Meanwhile, there are some locations where the best actor is there and the best actor is not delivering. So, she's hardworking. I mean, that's very obvious.
Yeah.
And she tries, surpassing our own records, which is extreme consistency, extreme level of consistency. Then the welfare of, the welfare of the cast and crew is also very important. And of course, she's been able to study the market. She's been able to know what the market wants. And what she does is she gives the market what the market wants. Automatically, the market moves.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. So there's box office money. But these days, we're also seeing that a lot of actors and actresses, they're no longer waiting for the call to come and be a part of some box office blockbuster. They're setting up their own YouTube channels, doing their own productions. We saw Omonio Boli hit record highs. Bimbo Ademoye is also getting attention for, the streaming as well. And some people are already doing the calculation and the math of how much this person is making based off of views. What's the reality when it comes to income off of movies on streaming platforms like YouTube?
Well, the reality is that regardless of anything, you make money on YouTube, yeah? If I'm not mistaken, YouTube, as far as I'm concerned, is the highest paid, audiovisual platform as we have it right now. The reality is cool. There are certain conditions YouTube will definitely put into consideration, in making, payments to creatives. Some of us in recent time have been trying to engage those in authorities, yeah, in making sure that not only, do we, and when I say we, I mean our creatives, not only do they get paid, but they get paid well, and they get paid compared to what the international standard, is. So the reality is, of course, you make good money on YouTube. Can it be better? Of course, it can be better. Are we engaging the necessary authorities to make sure we get it better? Of course, we are engaging the necessary authorities. Kudos to the likes of Omonio Boli kudos to the likes of Itele, the icon, which is a movie. And of course, kudos to all our creatives making the flag of Nigeria, and of course, Africa and the continent, making it seen and making it known worldwide.
But from what you're saying, it doesn't really match up with box office revenues.
Of course, it cannot match up with box office revenue, definitely, because it cannot match up with box office revenue. But at the same time, we also need to consider, the agreement between cinemas and the content suppliers. Yeah. So the agreement sometimes, might be favorable and might not be favorable depending on the deal. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, when you have your stuff on YouTube, all you probably need to deduct might be maybe the cost of the movie, maybe the cost of your ads. Okay. Yeah. The cost of the movie, the production fee at large, then the cost of the ad. Then others might actually, others might actually come to you. And for box office, of course, there are so many deductions that needs to be, done.
Yeah.
So the box office thing, the box office revenue is highly dependent on what is even made.
Okay.
And of course, the agreement between parties.
Okay.
Cinemas, the Association of Cinemas, the producers,
So it all boils down
on agreements as well.
It all boils down to.
Remember your YouTube. The movie on YouTube can be there for 5 years, can be there for 10 years.
That's true.
Meaning that you are still monetizing it. But cinemas, within a month, 2-3 months, it's off the cinemas. Worst case scenario, it goes on Netflix or it goes on Amazon Prime.
After box office, and that seems to be another trend. Another trend that a lot of people are finding worrisome, not just in the movie industry, is that faceless technology, artificial intelligence. We had Faith, the artist, come out to lay some sort of complaints, and I think she worked it out. But let's take a listen to her, and then I'll get your thoughts on how artificial intelligence is interrupting music and movie money.
I dropped a song titled Intentions. A few weeks ago, there's this new version on TikTok that's making everyone go crazy. And you won't believe that this is AI. Yes. A freaking I. I was so gagged that it was AI, and I was so conflicted for the longest time. I'm like, do I acknowledge this? Do I not acknowledge it because it's AI, And I'm still a little bit indifferent about AI doing what human beings can do, especially when it comes to music. But then again, I thought to myself that it's my lyrics. If someone else or something else wants to make their own rendition of it, why should I care? At the end of the day, the message is being passed across, and I think anyone who discovers this song falls in love with it eventually discovers my song. The gaggest of all the gags about this entire thing is that I think people actually prefer the AI version to the original version, but I think that's just because they haven't heard the original version.
And I think she handled it very well. She even came out, she re-recorded with the sort of some semblance of the AI version. Let us into, finally, as we tie things together, time is fast spent, how AI, is this even legal? And how is AI interrupting the music space? Is there any pushback? Is there anything happening in that regard?
Well, AI is the future, and I doubt if there is anything anybody can do about it. Yeah. All we need to do about it is to make sure that it is properly, regulated. AI, whether we like it or not, it makes things easier for everybody. But we need to be mindful so creativity will not become cheap. Yeah. So our APs, our materials will not really lose, that human touch, and of course that creative value. As far as I'm concerned, AI is the future, and it needs better regulation, not just on platforms right now, but this is actually the best time for governments to key into this and make sure that it doesn't extend or it doesn't, send into extinction the human capacity.
All right, and I think there are those who are even concerned about the money. But thank you so much. We'll delve deeper into this some other time. Thank you, Tope Salami, entertainment lawyer and entrepreneur.
You're welcome.
Yeah.